And Peter, I just met you about 3 minutes ago, and my first question to you is, I saw on your LinkedIn that you said to hell with the suit and tie a while back. What made you ditch the suit and tie and go to casual?
Yeah, man, and I'm actually surprised.
He's sporting that today. Wallin, Peter, you ready?
Peter, yes, sir. Go for it.
All right. Ty, you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Timeout. Tyler, who are we taking the timeout with today?
Thank you, Kevin. Well, on this Monday morning, Kevin, we got Peter Wallin, author and president of Wallin Insurance. Guy's written like 6 books, president of his own insurance company. And Peter, I just met you about 3 minutes ago, and my first question to you is, I saw on your LinkedIn that you said to hell with the suit and tie a while back. What made you ditch the suit and tie and go to casual?
Yeah, man, and I'm actually surprised.
He's sporting that today.
I was ready to wear a T-shirt. I got my sneakers on, but I think, great to be here, guys. Great to be part of this podcast, and I think we all just need to be ourselves and stop trying to impress somebody else. And I wore the suit and tie for years, and I just got tired of it, And so, corporate America, step aside. I'm here now. Cool.
When did you feel comfortable, Peter, in your own life to basically say, well, screw it all, I'm not going to try to be somebody that I'm not?
I don't think it's part of an age thing, guys, as much as it is just a confidence, a thing that not trying to please people or to impress people. When I go to a business meeting or even a meeting with clients, I certainly don't want to offend anybody by underdressing and dressing, too casual, but, I just want to be myself. So whether I'm wearing a Buffalo Bills T-shirt or just, a shirt supporting my community, it's cool, so just be myself.
Yeah.
Awesome, Peter. Well, we really appreciate you being on our show. And, I saw on your track record, you've written 6 books. Peter, when in the heck did you ever think you'd write 6 books? Kevin's got
a couple right here, Tyler. I was the author himself sent me a couple, and we'll get into those. But
yeah, and Pete, when did you start to think that you'd be an author someday? I have not done much homework on you at all.
It certainly didn't come early in life. I was a C student in high school, and I got to college, and I bragged now to my kids. I said, man, I was a 3.2, 3.4 grade point average in college. And I really wasn't, man. I was like 2.5, 2.6 grade point average. So English was not my strength. The college course is not my strength, but I learned to work hard and learned to put in the time and the energy and the effort on personal development more than anything. And as I got into my 30s and then even my early 40s, I was tapped on the shoulder quite a bit to share my story about starting my own insurance business, just being a successful business person. And as I started giving speeches and seminars, I had a file cabinet full of notes. And so I just started taking the notes out, in my early 40s and started jotting down some notes and put together that first book, which led to 6 books, which is cool.
Awesome. And I have a couple of those, and I can't wait to dive into those. And Peter, you and I have, you've known me since I was a little tyke playing college with your son, Mikey. So
sure,
you and I go way back. But just for the audience that does not know Mr. Wallin, he is his true self. And I think that is one of those pieces of confidence that he talked about earlier, which is why he's always been a mentor of mine. And knowing that he started this very successful insurance agency within Elmira, New York. Elmira is not known for much. I mean, we have Ernie Davis, we have Eileen Collins, we have some big names, but on the business side, Mr. Wallen, when you ran your business and continue to always shine and really support the community, I know community is a big focus of yours. Yeah. You mentioned personal development. I know you're a huge sports fan, and I want to get into your personal development side. If you had to choose between the Sabres or the Bills,
Bills by far. I love Buffalo.
All right.
But the Bills, and what was really interesting about Buffalo sports is it's owned by the same family. The Padula family owns the Buffalo Bills and they own the Buffalo Sabres. And yet, we're watching right now, we're seeing both sides struggling. The Sabres are struggling and the Bills are doing so well. So it's management, right? It's management and development of good people along the way. So
what do you think about our new coach in Buffalo that seemingly had turned around the team? I know we trimmed the fat and got rid of some high-paid players, and it wasn't popular by the fan base for sure. What do you think about the new leadership?
Oh, it's outstanding. The coach McDermott, he says humble and hungry, man, humble and hungry. So not sitting there bragging, patting themselves on the back, but develop a culture, within the organization, whether it's the Buffalo Bills or my organization, develop a culture where we get along with each other, we respect each other, you treat people well, but you also tell people, the way it needs to be done. You develop the system, the procedure, and then that just creates the culture that everybody does it the right way, the same way. And you're certainly see that result right now in the Buffalo Bills football team. And it starts with that leadership and that coaching.
Awesome.
Oh man, Peter, I didn't know you were such a big Buffalo fan. I'm from down south, and I've jumped on board easily recently. Let me say that much.
Welcome to the mafia.
What's funny is, I'm from Jerry Jones country down in Arkansas, and I rooted for y'all every year in the Super Bowl. Believe it or not.
Thank you.
I'm a little different myself. Do you believe that you kind of carry? What kind of leadership do you carry over? I don't know, say like a McDermott to your own insurance company.
Great segue conversation wise. I've been in business now for 23 years and started this insurance agency by myself, kind of what we call scratch. So I didn't buy an existing business. I just started scratch and getting out there, knocking on doors and telemarketing, cold calling, doing whatever it takes to get business to come my way for auto insurance, home insurance, and then even small business insurance. So it's worked out really well. But certainly I've learned through the years that I can't do this by myself. So right away from the early days, I started hiring people, training and developing people so they can help carry the torch. And so it's not just me doing this stuff. I can get people that can sit right beside me and help me develop this business and certainly do things that even they can do things better than I can. You hire to your weakness. My strength is one thing, but if I have weaknesses in whether it's computer skills or technology, or even just handling all the paperwork that an insurance company is necessary to have, I can hire and develop people that can do the things that I'm not good at or that I don't want to do, and ultimately they're going to be better at that stuff than I am. So take off the hat, take off the ego, get them to do this stuff. It's outstanding.
Dude, I love it, Peter. People always ask me, why are you so active in the community? Why do you network so much? And I tell them that, Peter. I say Tyler White ain't enough. When it comes to what I want to accomplish. And you mentioned cold call. What is the art of the cold call to a guy like Peter Wallin?
I started back in the 90s when you guys were born. That's when I started my insurance business, and I was been in the business in the 1980s when I worked for in Nationwide Insurance. I was in management, and back then it was telemarketing, guys. It was pick up the phone and dial for dollars, we used to call it, and hit the phones hour after hour after hour, and it was extremely effective. But as you all know, that was a telemarketing thing. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes being interrupted right now, and even now with our phones and our cell phones, we're getting spam calls and that kind of stuff. So there's better ways to do it now than there was back then. But back then I was hungry, man. I had to sell insurance. I had to feed my kids. I had to put food on the table. So whatever it took. But certainly the segue to that is the more I sell insurance, the more I treat people properly, sell them a good insurance policy, take care of them. In my insurance industry, the secret is to get the customers to stay with me. They buy insurance from me, but stay with me for not 1 year, but 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And I just get residual commission off of that. And that helps pay for my bills. So if I treat people well, if they're going to like me, know me and trust me, then they're going to send their family and friends to me for insurance. So bottom line is I take care of people well. I don't need to do the telemarketing anymore like I did back then. I get referrals. Referrals come from people.
And I know that's what you're all about. And you always lead with your best interests, but the best interest of the other person. Peter, you have always shocked me as one of those people on how good you are at asking questions about how the other person is doing. One of the things that we're starting to see about like the world of work, right, is our lives. I fought really hard to protect my personal and my professional world, right? I did not want to mix the two. I really made it upon myself to not make friends within the business or too close of friends. But that seemed to change pretty much overnight during the pandemic. Then we had like babies crying in meetings and cats walking into Zoom meetings. And now business and life are really, I mean, so intertwined right now that organizations are struggling to untangle the mess. But that's not how you've led your organization. And I know for a fact for the last 23 years. Why do you think it's so important that you, being the executive or CEO, really knows the lives of your employees in which you're working with side by side?
Oh, wow. Great question. And I've got 12 employees right now, and we have staff meetings every single week, whether during the pandemic, we were doing it over a Zoom call, which is great. Now we're back to doing in-person meetings just for an hour once a week from 9 to 10 on a Tuesday morning. But, we started off, I have a clear agenda, but we started off with what we call happy talk. And we just go around the room and I make everybody talk and just share something that's happy in your life right now.
I love
and that. So it gets the person that's usually the quietest person in the room. We get them to talk, say something. And it's always a personal thing about their family, whether it's their son playing, Little League T-ball, or maybe they're, an elderly parent is struggling a little bit, but they just got out of the hospital. So as we go around the room and ask those questions, we become part of their family, which is just, it's the right thing to do. It's a natural thing to do. But I also think this, guys, that we're all facing a battle, each of us, we're facing a battle. And today my battle could be a lot worse than your battle, whether it's like I said, an elderly parent or a sick child, or just trying to get my bills paid on time or something like that. We're facing a battle, and today mine might be pretty rough. So I hope and respect that you guys, treat me well, because tomorrow, it could be your turn. Yeah. And so we all kind of take turns having tough days in our lives, and we need that support group around. So no talking behind each other's back, no backstabbing, when someone needs to take some time off of work or leave, or if I need to take some time off of work and leave, we support each other with that. So that's huge. And that's part of the culture that we develop each and every day. And so when the disaster does come and the challenge does come, we're as prepared as possible for it to support that.
Yeah, that's awesome, Peter. Where'd you learn that methodology? You don't see that everywhere. I promise you.
It's the godly principle. Treat others the way you want to be treated yourself, right, guys? The golden rule. It goes back to, like Kevin said earlier, having mentors and just personal development. Read the right books, take the right classes, work on personal development, and it just comes over and over and over. It's just loud and clear. Treat people well, treat people with respect, not about, wearing some big hat that I'm some corporate guy, or I'm some CEO, or I'm some huge author. That doesn't matter. It's how I treat people. On a daily basis.
Wow. Yeah. And I know you're a big family man, and I've joined the fatherhood club here. So
congratulations, man.
These days. Yeah. The bags, I got the bags to prove it now, Peter.
Great hair comes next.
Yeah, exactly. I think I already noticed a few strays up there. I'm getting a little worried, but no Rogaine yet. Yeah. But you're a big sports guy. I know you love sports. It's something that I think you were playing for quite some time yourself. And I know in sports, it's how much practice, right? Go out, shoot on the goal for an hour, my dad used to say, or go play basketball for a few hours. It's practice. It's repetitive. You talk about reading these books. I think a lot of CEOs read these leadership books, right? But very few know how to apply it into their routine and become practice, right? Or become second nature. How have you taken what you've written, what you've read, what you've learned, and started to apply it in your own leadership and to develop your own style that people wanted to read books about?
It's a great question. It starts with me, just like it starts with you. Before you can teach that to somebody else or try to instill your beliefs in somebody else, it has to start with you. What's your daily philosophy? What's your daily habits? Are you up at 6 o'clock in the morning? I know, Kevin, you got to feed a kid here, but are we up at 6 in the morning, starting good habits of exercise and eat well and meditate a little bit, then maybe read a book and do all that stuff before you even turn the TV on. So you're forming, proper daily habits to get your day off to a good start. And so you prepare yourself for any bad thing that might come up. But the daily habits start each and every day. The first thing you do when you get out of bed, did you get your 8 hours sleep? Did you get up? Did you do your exercises? Did you do your stretch? Did you eat proper food? All that good stuff. Meditate, read a little bit, journal a little bit, right? Write in your journal, all that kind of stuff to prepare yourself for the rest of the day. So there's where the attitude forms, but
what is your personal mission statement then? What are you saying to yourself to really motivate yourself when you're stepping out of bed in the morning?
Yeah, I'll say this. It's just about serving. How can I serve others? Just goals are just stuff you write down. And I've been writing down goals and trying to accomplish goals all my life. And I think it's outstanding. You've got to do that. You've got to have a goal in mind and write it down on a sheet of paper. But in my world right now, as I get older, guys, it's less important about having things as it is how can I create that legacy by serving others. And so very philosophical, I get it, but I
love it though.
It's part of the mission. It's part of what makes me thrive every day.
And I think a lot of people are doing the same, right? I think we finally had time. I mean, it's not that sports are a distraction, but sports are a distraction, right? It's like we get home from work and we throw on a football game. We're distracted from our day. We're not even really taking in who we met, what we learned. But that went away during the pandemic, right? So then we weren't concerts. There weren't these distractions, and really forced people, I think, to look inward and look at their life and find out who they were. And I know like Tyler is that person for me that really helped pull out my strengths and find out who I was. You went through a transformation yourself. I know nutrition became more of a certain part of your life where you had to make some very drastic changes. Who helped you, I guess, see that? Maybe mention a mentor in your life that, similar to Tyler in my life, helped you identify your strengths as well, Peter.
Great stuff. And I'll say this, mentors, you don't even need to know who your mentor is. You can get it out of a book. It can be Tony Robbins. It can be Dale Carnegie. The guy's dead for 50 years, but he's still a mentor. You read those books and it's just outstanding. Each and every day you can carry your mentors around in your back pocket in the form of books. But certainly with nutrition, as I'm into my 50s now, I realize, if I just keep doing the same things I've done in years past, I'm going to just gain weight naturally just through metabolism changes and just things that naturally change in my body. So I can't keep, eating the same donuts that I ate 20 years ago and think I'm not going to gain weight, So go to the gym, you learn from your fitness advisors, you learn from your health coaches, you do anything possible to just surround yourself with all the right people that can help, determine good health and good fortune. Don't walk away from your doctor appointments. Do your blood work every year. Do all the right things so you're not, setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up for success. So whether you take vitamins or whatever, it's just making sure you're doing things properly.
And you're taking the time, right? So, and again, not to get into male versus female, but let's just say society in itself puts so much into our careers that we don't reserve the time necessary for such practices, right? To go to the gym or take a bike ride, go for a walk. How do you make sure that you pencil or carve that out in your calendar?
You put it right on the calendar, we all carry around our calendar right on our right now. So schedule that, so usually Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon, I'm out of here. I leave for an hour and I go to the gym. Today I'm with you guys, but
why, thank you.
This is important, man. This is important. This is good stuff. Today I'm with you guys, but normally I'm at the gym at noon on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So take a quick shower, come back to work. You missed an hour, but you got that hour in. So whether it's morning, afternoon, nights, whatever it takes. We can't skip that. And you mentioned the pandemic, and I think sometimes we got so caught up in the pandemic that we just use that as an excuse. And, we gained 10 pounds. No excuse, man. Go buy a Peloton. It's $2,000, but it's an investment in your life, So but I got a Peloton at home right next to my desk, So I trip over it to get to my desk. So I might as well just jump on it.
As he's cold calling.
A little sweaty here. That's what.
Yeah, Peter, man, we might be best friends, man. By the time this is over with, you talked about serving others, man, and that's music to my ears, dude. People ask me why is that my mantra or whatnot, and I tell them, it kind of deflates my ego and it makes me sleep good at night, and it wears me out sometimes helping others in a good way. But I saw one of your books was called Ensure Your Peace of Mind.
Right on.
Can I ask Peter Wallin, how do you get that peace of mind?
Oh, well, first of all, that was the third book I wrote. So here I am, an insurance agent. I've been doing this for, 30 something years with my career. And the first two books were on business development and personal development. So it took me 3 books before I even got into the insurance world. So So it's a cool book. It's a book, in all honesty, with books, I'm not selling the books either. This is a marketing thing. So the books are made you give them away. You give them away as gifts. You give them away as a token. And as I'm handing something to somebody, it's like, oh my God, I received something. What a huge deal. Mr. Wallen, can you autograph it for me? So yeah, that pads my ego as much as possible. I need that. But when you said insure your peace of mind, that's what we do. I'm an insurance agent, so you come here, you give me money, you give me your hard-earned money to hopefully do the right thing, to protect you, to give you that peace of mind if you are involved in a car accident or someone trips and falls on the sidewalk in front of your home and they sue you because of something that happened. You want to make sure that your insurance company, your insurance agent, has done the right thing and not just charge you some money, but has given you the right advice and the right counsel. And so that's what we do. And that's how I put that book together. It's a very simple read. It's an easy read, but it just describes different things that you should be paying attention to when it comes to your insurance portfolio. So,
yeah. Well, I think, and we all sell against that, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we all do sales for a living, but I think it's that we sell against a lot of the dishonest people that were before us, right? We're still selling against that, even though the three of us lead with their best interest first.
Yeah, right.
So
right.
how do you make sure in your business networking? Because I know you went member of Greek Life. So I'm sure that gave you an instantaneous group of networking. What did you learn in Greek Life networking in college that you still apply in business networking today?
My Greek Life, guys, was like Alpha Kappa Kega. So that's about where I learned. But good bunch of guys. It was very informal back then. It was an ATK thing, but it allowed me to form incredible relationships with people. To be honest with you, so it's lifelong friends that I met in college are still my friends today. And I think there's a lot to be said about that. So, yeah, man, people come and people go in our lives, but there's always a few people, and you don't even need to number how many there are. There's a few people that just stay attached to you through thick and thin, through good and bad, through ups and downs. And I'm very blessed that I've had really good people in my life, that I've met through college, that I've met childhood friends that I still keep in close touch with. And yet even, people in the community now and clients and people like that. So it's not about numbers, it's about quality of having the right people and the right relationships in life.
That's beautiful, beautifully put. And I know you're very active in the community. Why do you find it so important having a business that you're involved in the community and out in front of the community, in the chambers of commerce, in the Rotary clubs? Why do you think that is such an important, fundamental pillar to what you've been able to build?
Great way to describe that, a fundamental pillar. We talk about our competition. My competition right now is like Geico. How can I compete with Geico? When the commercials are outstanding. I laugh when I see the Geico commercials, but man, that's my competitor right now, and you can't turn on the TV right now without seeing something with Geico. So that's my competitor, and they've been training people that 15 minutes or more can save you 15% on your insurance. So I don't want to compete with that. I don't want to compete with the speed of Geico and the lack of personalization. They're selling a commodity. They're selling a TV commercial. Make life simple, just buy Geico. But I'm going a different direction on that. I want to be your local friend. I want to be your local guy that's in the community, that's flipping burgers and hot dogs, Kevin, on a Thursday night somewhere in my local community. That's the guy I want to be. That I'm not doing it to sell an insurance policy, but when people see that Peter Wallin's involved with Meals on Wheels, that I'm involved with the Chamber of Commerce, the local hospital that your dad works for, Kevin, that I'm on their foundation boards. Those are the places that just quietly, you just get yourself involved with, and you meet the right people. You surround yourself with a good circle of network connections just naturally through that local community thing. And in all honesty, Geico really isn't. They can't compete with that. They can't compete. They can't touch that.
No, definitely.
They can't touch Peter Wallin. They can't touch that. So
no, you're building that level of trust and everything else like that. It was just so important. Tyler, what did you have? Because I got a couple more for him.
Peter Wallin. Hey, I was just going to ask you, what's a guy like you? How do you define a day of success nowadays? It seems like you've done it all. You're experienced out. You know more than Kevin and I combined by far with simply through your experiences, it sounds like. So what's a day of success look like for you?
Well, it starts at 6 a.m. I'm doing that first hour, right? That first personal development thing. But I'll segue, guys, because this is an easy segue to talk about having a business where there's proper systems and procedures in place. And if you don't mind, indulge me for a second. I share this story a lot. There's a local person, let's call her a lady, that makes wonderful cupcakes. And everybody loves her cupcakes, right? Oh my God, you make the best cupcakes in the world. I love your cupcakes. I love you. You should go into business making cupcakes because you're so good at it. So this person believes that. And so she opens up a business right here in town selling cupcakes. And everybody loves her cupcakes, and they're buying her cupcakes left and right. She can't keep the cupcakes, she can't make them fast enough. So guess what? She's overwhelmed. I need to hire somebody to help me make these cupcakes. And I've got all these bills in the background. I got to do the financials. I got to pay taxes. I just do cupcakes. So then she says, I got to hire somebody. So she hires somebody. And guess what? The customers are still coming, but the quality of the cupcakes diminishes and it deteriorates because it doesn't have that loving touch that the cupcake owner has. So then the quality deteriorates. They get slow, they get backed up, they run out of supplies. And so they've got problems. And then suddenly the lady's in the background, she can't pay her bills because her taxes are due and her business has kind of dropped so quickly, so dramatically. And that's what led me to write my first book, guys, is I saw so many businesses struggle and fail when they shouldn't have. So what's the answer? Systems and procedures. Have systems and procedures. This is how we make the cupcake. This is the written system as to how the ingredients go into the cupcake batter. Then we stir the batter 34 times. We pour it into the pan. We put it into the oven at 400 degrees, whatever it takes. But it's the system and the procedure that I can hire a 16-year-old to do that, right? The McDonald's philosophy, Dunkin' Donuts. They've got systems in place so they know how it's done. We can hire a kid right out of high school to handle this. So no offense to the cupcake owner, but I've seen enough of that that I really feel bad. And I regret to watch, the owner of the cupcake store, because usually within a year they're gone.
Yeah, very true.
It stinks because she had such a great dream and a great vision, but she didn't take the first 6 months or the first year to write down her plan and to seek advice and to get mentors in there that know how to do it. So to answer your question, I knew I had to throw that cupcake story in there. But
I love it.
Question. To me, it's about systems and procedures. I can walk into this office, in the back door of this office at 8:30 in the morning and know that my staff is already in place, already know what their system or procedure is for that day, and they know how to handle that next phone call. Someone calls into the office and say they got in a car accident. How do we handle it? This is how we handle it. Someone needs us to send them an email to a bank or something to verify insurance coverage. This is how we do it. We've got templates in place. We've got what we call stamps. So we know exactly how to send that email. We know exactly how to file that email. We know how to keep records and track all that. So the next person we hire, we just say, hey, this is the training manual. This is how you do it. So Kevin, in an HR, but that is so critical.
Oh, it is. Yeah, definitely. And like the pandemic, again, not to keep bringing up the pandemic, but that's when a lot of the processes had been flipped on their head, right? And then you got to quickly, some of those processes need to adapt or evolve. And it sounds like you might be getting that. Do you listen to maybe when a new piece of technology comes out, or maybe an employee identifies a better way? How do you keep those lines of communication open between the frontline workers as well as yourself?
It's a great question. And yeah, technology is not just changing, but it's changing rapidly. And again, I'm in my mid to late 50s here, so I struggle with technology, but I know I need to embrace it. So if there's a new platform that's coming out that I need to be involved in, we take it sooner than later. But we also do the right thing. Is I'm not just going to introduce it to all of my employees right away. We're going to create kind of a start off strategy here and do a little bit of beta testing to make sure we've got the right understanding. So I might pull 2 or 3 people from my business and say, hey, let's work on this project to make sure we know how to use this Google platform and make sure we do it properly and correctly before we introduce it to the whole team. So
I love that.
We do a lot of that. A lot of that is to create a new way to do it, but we can't just throw it against the wall and wing it. We've got to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And then, like you said, is it makes it much easier for the next man or woman to step up and kind of pick up where they had left off and feel like they're immediately educated on how they can produce per se for the organization.
Yeah.
Yep, go ahead.
I've got a lady, she's 18 years old and she's working from home. She works remote for us. She's 18 years old and she's knocking it out of the park. You know, she doesn't even come into the office right now, but we've got technology in place that we know how to email her. She knows how to get system down and she does a lot of our insurance quoting for us, you know, so it doesn't take the time and the energy away from someone here in the office. So,
yeah. And then it gives you more flexibility. And that's what I think a lot of businesses are struggling to identify, those unique positions within their organization that can be fully virtual or fully remote. Right. Exactly. But you're so in tune with your organization, and granted, yes, it's on the smaller side, but you're in tune with not only the community, you're understanding where the community needs are, where your areas of focus, but then you're also in tune with, I think, the younger demographic as well, Peter. I think with your children, having children in that age and being able to relate to them, and they've probably shared stories about corporate America and their own jobs. You talked about legacy earlier. And that's one of the things that Tyler and I always like to ask our guests is, what do you want Peter Wallin's legacy to be?
That he served, you know, that he was just a good guy. You know, I think you spend the first 50 years of your life working on your legitimacy. You know, you become a father, a dad, your life, your home, you're trying to just create legitimacy. And once you hit that big 5-0, you know, that stuff is as important as it was for the first 50 years of your life. The next 50 years is more working on that legacy stuff. So how can you serve? How can you be best remembered for someone that gave back to the community and all that? And as morbid as it sounds, you know, my obituary, I don't want someone to put in there, man, he was the best Buffalo Bills fan I've ever met. I don't want that. You know, I don't want that in my obituary. He's a great Yankees fan, you know, screw that, you know, who was this guy, you know, as much as I love the Bills, I got it, I get it. But, you know, he was involved in community, you know, he served, he helped a poor child one day, he helped, you know, someone that needed help, you know, he was the guy that was called upon, you know, when Meals on Wheels was looking to expand their operation locally here in our county. You know, that's the legacy that I want to be remembered for. So not about the ego. I don't need to have my name on a plaque somewhere.
I know. I don't see that. I don't see you on that at all.
Not about that, but just, you know, he was a good guy. He did what he was supposed to do. You know, so.
Being a father too, and I know I'm giving you whiplash in this conversation, but as you keep talking, I want to go back to that point too, because you talked about your legacy, and legitimacy to legacy is by far, Tyler, I think that's one of the best things that I've heard on our show, because that is like it really struck home, because you're right. It's like chasing the American dream. And when you get the American dream, you have a house, you have two kids, you got 2 cars, you got a boat, you got a trailer. There's nothing else you can get. And then what, right? And then it switched to more not tangible assets. It becomes more, well, how can I help others? I love that. Helping others, being a father, being a mother, you're always kind of in service to your child. And I experience that, because if I'm not there to feed or burp or whatever, that he can't do it on his own in most cases. You are always the father, though, I found amazing, to always be at your son's soccer games and practices and always showing up. But you had an insurance company.
Right.
How the heck did you do that? How did you navigate that? How did you prioritize that and say it's okay to leave business when I know I'm going to see my son's soccer game?
Yeah, thank you. It's a no-brainer. You know, you only live once. You want to be there for your kids. You know, and I'd miss a few things here and there, but it was so far and few in between. It was just so important to be there, you know, and I don't want to miss the goal. I don't want to miss, you know, the play that they're going to talk about for weeks and months, you know, so you want to be there for that. And Kev, you're right. We did a lot of traveling with our weekends and things like that, where you took time away from our personal lives, and your parents as well. You know, you're just there. But it's so important for, I think, the development of the kids at that time as well. I'll say this, and my kids laugh, but, you know, I always say, you know, do cool stuff till you're 30. And I'll even say what I really say: do cool shit till you're 30.
Yeah.
Because I think we put so much pressure on our kids to make career choices and career decisions when they're 16, 17, 20 years old. When you go to college and you're supposed to decide what you're going to do for your career, come on, that's way too much pressure. So if there's one thing I pat myself on the back with, and my kids laugh because I've been saying it forever, do cool shit till you're 30.
I love that.
Travel, try different things, do different things.
Yeah, get a more worldly view, I love that.
Seriously, and you then you're going to work on the legitimacy after that, and the settling down and all that stuff. An opportunity to do something pretty fantastic. Do it. Travel the world. Take a sport. Do something interesting. Just go do something, and don't get so caught up in trying to define your entire life when you're still a young person in your early 20s and 30s, and yet college comes at an interesting time. You're 18, 19, 20, 21 years old, and
you're out of the house. You're free.
It's time to come. But, if anything, that's just part of that life growth and that life experience to get that started and get away.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, well, Peter, you seem like an unshakable and fearless gentleman. I'm glad I ran into you this afternoon.
Thanks, brother.
On a Monday. How'd you deal with fear as in your younger ages? Because I can tell you don't have a lick of it now. But you mentioned cold calling. We'll give you some more whiplash. How did you, and starting your own business? How does a guy like Peter Wallin deal with fear back in the day?
Great question, Tyler. I was just thinking on that question. I was in high school and college. I was very shy. Very nervous.
Wow. I would never believe that.
Ask my buddies. I was shy. I wouldn't raise my hand in class. If someone asked me a question, I wouldn't have the energy to answer it. But I think as I started, getting into my early 20s and things like that, I realized that I wasn't going to go very far in life if I wasn't able to speak up and share my beliefs and just be able to speak. But it was hard. It was very, very hard to do. And even as I got into the insurance industry when I was 24 years old, it was hard to do those cold calls and make those connections. And yet I forced myself into it. And I forced myself to what I said earlier, guys, reading books. I took Dale Carnegie public speaking classes. I put myself in such uncomfortable positions back then that the more of those uncomfortable positions I put myself in, the more I gained confidence, and the more I said, hey, I can do this. I got the guts and the desire to do this. So just speak up and do it. So that was huge, though. But that was, taking the Dale Carnegie classes, the Tony Robbins stuff, all that motivational stuff that sinks in over time. But it's confidence building. So when you are ultimately put in a position where I was being asked then to give speeches and seminars and get up in front of groups of 1,000 people to talk on my experience, as nervous and as full of butterflies as I am, I did it. You did it, you do it anyway, and you just gain so much skill from that. That's.
And sometimes you learn from making those jumps. How did you make that? Because you mentioned like your time in corporate America. What did you learn in corporate America, and what did you take with you, and what didn't you take with you?
Well, I think corporate America has changed so much. I think going back to the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, it was so much about corporation. What's the difference between a leader and a manager, and you guys have been through this stuff, but a manager manages things, and there's just so much of that, driven by quotas and annual objectives and finances and trying to have your budgets in place, that it was just so much of what I call just a corporate world that I just didn't enjoy. I didn't want to be part of it. And yet, I was making good money. I was doing fine, doing all the right things, but I just didn't enjoy it. So a manager manages things. A leader becomes a leader of people, right? So how do I, hone in on all the skills that I've developed and all the things that I've learned through the books and through, following the mentors, that now when I start my own business, how can I just do this in the form of surrounding myself with good people? And being part of a leader, but also being part of a follower too. Follow others that can lead me.
Wow.
So that's where the development comes from.
Man, I'm thinking that Peter Wallin's pretty damn cool.
For president. I want Peter Wallin for president, I think.
Yeah, I just love the transparency and the honesty, Peter. And what advice could you give guys like Kevin and I? We're in our 30s. Kevin's now a dad. We're in sales. What do you got for us, Peter?
Shave. No, I'm just kidding. No, don't shave.
I forgot I was just signed to the Yankees. That's right.
Yeah, you noticed that, right? You know, I don't mean it. Don't shave. If anything, be yourself, dudes. Oh my God, it's back when I was your age, I was afraid to not shave. You know, I had that corporate image to uphold, where I had to shave every day. I had to wear the shirt and the tie every day, and our world and our society has changed so much, guys, that you don't need to do that. And I think that's the advice I'll give you is keep doing what you're doing, man. You know, whether you're wearing a t-shirt or not shaving or keep whatever. I think that's so cool. You know?
I'm a big flip-flops guy, so I try to wear those, sport those anywhere I can.
You be yourself with that. You're not trying to influence that on me or anything like that, but just being yourself. And so as you get out there and continue to do these podcasts and interview people that are like you, people that are not like you, and just share that with the rest of us, guys. I'm still learning too, and I'm listening to your podcast.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
More Swen Nader, man.
Exactly. If we could only book guests like you and Swen, we'd be doing all right.
More CEOs from Vision, man.
Yeah. So one of the other things that I saw recently, and I know it really spoke to you too, was the nomination of the first Rotary female president. What did it mean to you when she was elected?
About time. It's about time.
Wow.
You know, even right now we're talking about, you know, the first female governor in the state of New York, you know, and I know it was a weird circumstance, but I think it's outstanding. I think it's about time. I've been in Rotary for years and years and years. And thankfully, I think it was in the late 60s that the old men's Rotary Club allowed women to join Rotary. And thankfully, that's worked. And if I look at my own club right now, I think there's 25 people in our Rotary Club. 2/3 of them are females.
Wow.
And they're outstanding. They're hardworking workers. They're retired. They're all different variety. They're all different backgrounds. But man, our president right now is a female, and she's doing an outstanding job. And I don't even compare her male to female. I'm just thankful that she's there and she's part of it.
That's so cool, because I knew that really spoke to you too, to finally see that. And you're starting to, and when you hear that, sometimes I've never gone back in the history books at a lot of these organizations, but then when you hear it, it's like, first you're like, holy cow, how has it taken this long for that? That's so powerful. So we got into a lot of deep stuff pretty quick, and now I want to have some fun stuff because I know you're a fun loving guy. All right, so we're rolling up. We're going to see Josh Allen. We're playing, let's say, Squish the Fish. You're taking me up to the VIP suite. Tyler's sitting shotgun. I'm in the back. What songs are we? What music are we listening to on the way up to Buffalo?
I'm a big Styx fan.
All right.
Come Sail Away with Styx. I love Journey. Don't Stop Believing.
That's going to be quite the car ride, Ty.
Yeah. We just crank the same songs over and over again. We just do it over and over again.
Yeah, I'm all right with that. As long as they're a good loop. It's a good loop.
Bring it on, man. Love it. All
right, Christmas party. You're grabbing the microphone, karaoke night. What song? Any of the Styx? Any Come Sail Away? I can see your pipe singing on that.
Come Sail Away. How can you not sing Neil Diamond, Sweet Caroline?
I was gonna say that would be a bar favorite, obviously.
That's an easy one. That's a no-brainer. It's not even the karaoke because everybody just sings along with it. Right?
Exactly. Ty.
Yeah, Peter. Well, if Kevin and I are headed down to Elmira, where are you taking us to eat today?
Oh man, I'm a big pizza guy. I love pizza. You know, there's just a couple nice little pizza spots right around town. You know, you gotta love it. You just gotta love it. Just getting in there at noon. A couple of Italian places to keep you happy, Kev.
Yep. Thank you for thinking about me. Yeah, and I will say that Elmira has way better pizza than Rochester. I will go on record for that. It's a big stark difference, but Elmira does pizza right. That's for sure. What's your favorite spot?
I coming from Buffalo, born and raised in Buffalo. I'm a big chicken wing guy. So moving down here to Elmira, the wings are good, but they're not great.
No. But the pizza, I will take out. The Buffalo has that thick crust. They're not sure if they want to be Chicago or New York. So they're kind of in between and uncomfortable in between with that dough.
I'm just writing down Pietro's right here on.
Yep. Mr. Menino over there. I used to be a waiter in my early days.
Did you really?
So, yeah.
Good meatballs, man. Good sauce. Good
Yes,
meatballs.
they got great food over there.
Yeah.
So as we're wrapping up, some of the other things that because you know your employees on such a personal level, you're meeting with them weekly, you're a part of their lives. What is one thing that your employees might not know about you?
I'm pretty transparent.
I know you are.
Yeah. One thing they might not know about me. Transparent, but I think if there is an answer to that question is I like to just stay home on weekends and just stay away from the phone, stay away from technology, stay away from the iPhones and things like that, because I'm really so wrapped up in it during the week that on weekends I think my staff thinks I'm out there doing wild and crazy things, but I'm pretty chill.
Peter, you mentioned hire to your weakness earlier. What's Peter's biggest weakness? I don't see any, but will you let us know?
Being an insurance agent, I dare say this, but attention to detail. They'll laugh at me a little bit. Attention to detail. I can get you to sign a form, Kevin, to buy insurance, but I want to make sure that you totally understand what you're buying. So, in respect of your time, I don't want to, take a lot of your time. So when I'm talking about insurance, I need to really slow down and pay attention to the detail to make sure you fully understand what it is you're buying as far as your insurance goes. So my staff is extremely good at that. They're good at making sure we get all the right signatures on all the forms, make sure all the people's banking information is set up properly and all their contact information. So I can do it, but I'm not real good at that. So again, surround myself with people that can handle that properly. So
I always said if I was a CEO, I want to be the dumbest guy in the room. That's one of the things, and I know that's a hire to your weakness, but sometimes having people on the team and different ideas, it changes your lens, it changes your opinion, and you gain new knowledge. What's your favorite movie?
Tommy Boy, is that okay to say Tommy Boy?
I love that movie. All right, that's a good one. Chris Farley, too early. That's
I'm just a fun guy. I don't like the real serious movies. If I'm going to watch a movie, I want to be entertained and I want to laugh. So Chris Farley movie, anything like that. Yeah, just Adam Sandler movies, stuff like that. I just love that stuff. And just kick back and laugh out of the stupidity. We all need more of that, right? We need more.
Well, we're so grateful that you skipped your workout for us today, but I know you're probably going to find that hour some other time. Yeah, I know you will. Yeah. But as we're wrapping up, we are reviewing your resume. We got your application to apply to Timeout with Leaders. And as we're wrapping up, we always just want to know, we have some interview questions before we accept this application for you to come work with us. So Ty, what is your interview question for Mr. Wallin?
Well, Mr. Wallen, if you hit the lottery today, won the mega millions, billions, whatever the case may be, what would you spend that money on if you couldn't spend a penny on yourself?
Yeah, thanks. Couldn't spend anything on myself. I don't really need much more for myself, to be honest with you. And I'm very grateful and I'm very humble when I say that. I think a lot of it's just giving it away. There's so many necessary causes in our community and in our world. And even being part of Rotary, it's great to be part of Rotary because we focus a lot on the local things. How can we beautify our parks and how can we take care of this and take care of that in our own community? But there's always an element of what can we do to help solve a problem in the world. If there's a water problem in the world or a literacy problem in third world countries that we need to support and help. So that money would be spent pretty quickly.
Awesome.
Yeah, feel free to slide a couple $100,000 over to Tyler and I with the winnings. It's all right. We'll do a good work with it. I promise.
Just go do cool shit. Right.
Yeah, exactly. All right. My interview question for you is describe yourself in one word.
I'll say humble, guys. I've shared a lot on this podcast that normally I wouldn't share, as far as the successes I've had and things like that. But in most cases, I'm just humble. I'm just walking down the street with my baseball cap on and my sneakers and not trying to show off and not trying to be anything more than I really am. A God-fearing guy that just tries to put in a good hard day's work every day.
I love that. And I can attest to that. I just really wanted to say thank you for skipping your workout with us. We will definitely hire you at Timeout with Leaders. You are a part of the family now.
Bring it on, man.
But
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being a part of this show with Tyler and I today.
It was a lot of fun, guys. Anytime. Enjoy it so much.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, keep listening.
Yes.
And stop back next week. Thanks again, Mr. Wallen. You have a great day.
Hey, guys. Thank you. Take care.